My 5-year-old daughter Minnie cannot stay without talking for even a moment. It must have taken her only 1 year after birth to learn the language. After that, as long as she is awake, she does not waste even a minute of her time in silence. Her mother often scolds her and shuts her up, but I cannot do that. Minnie's silence seems so unnatural to me that I cannot bear it for long, and this is the reason why she talks to me with more enthusiasm. In the morning, I had just started writing the 17th chapter of my novel when Minnie came and started saying, "Babuji, Ramdale is the gatekeeper. He used to call the crow a crow. He does not know anything, Babuji." Before I could say anything about the differences in the languages of the world, she started another topic. "Look, Babuji, Bola used to say that the elephant throws water from its trunk in the sky and that is why it rains." Babuji, Bola talks a lot of nonsense, doesn't he? He just keeps on blabbering. He keeps on blabbering day and night. Without waiting for a moment to know my opinion on this matter, she immediately asked a complex question in a very soft voice. "Well, Babuji, who is your mother?" I said to myself, "Sister-in-law." And said to myself, "Minnie, you go and play with Bola. I have some work right now, okay?" Then she sat beside my table, near my feet, and started playing Atkan Batkan Dahi Chatkan by moving her knees and hands and moving her mouth rapidly, while in the 17th chapter of my novel Pratap Singh was jumping with Kanchanwala from the high window of the prison into the flowing river in the dark night. My house is on the roadside. Suddenly Minnie left playing Atkan Batkan and ran to the window and started shouting loudly, "Kabuliwala! Oh, Kabuliwala!" A tall Kabuli, wearing dirty loose clothes, a turban on his head, a bag of dry fruits hanging from his shoulder, and a few grapes in his hand, was walking slowly on the road. It is difficult to tell what kind of emotion arose in my daughter's heart on seeing him. She started calling him loudly. I thought that with the bag hanging from his shoulder, some trouble would befall me and my 17th paragraph would not be completed even today. But as soon as Minnie shouted, the Kabuli turned towards her laughingly and started coming towards the house. Minnie deliberately ran inside. Then it was not known where she disappeared. A superstition had taken root in his mind that if he searched inside that bag, a few more living girls like her would come out. Then the Kabuli came smiling and saluted me and stood up. I thought that although Pratap Singh and Kanchanwala were in a very critical condition, it would not be good to call him home and buy something from him. Some things were bought. After that I started talking to him about various things. We started talking about Abdur Rahman, Russia, the British, border security, etc. Finally, while getting up and leaving, he asked me in his mixed language, "Babu Sahib, where has your daughter gone?" With the intention of removing the unnecessary fear from Minnie's mind, I called her inside. She stood very close to me, looking suspiciously at the Kabuli's face and bag. The Kabuli took out raisins and apricots from his bag and tried to give them to Minnie, but she did not take anything. Instead, she clung to my knees with double suspicion. The first introduction happened like this. A few days later, one morning I was going out for some important work. Suddenly I saw that my daughter was sitting on a bench near the door and talking to Kabuli. Kabuli was sitting near her feet, smiling and listening to everything attentively, and in between he was expressing his opinion in a mixed language as per the situation. Minnie had hardly found such a patient listener in her 5 years of life except Babuji. I saw that her small pala was full of almonds and raisins. I said to Kabuli, "Why did you give all this to her? Don't give it now." Saying this, I took out a 50 paisa coin from my pocket and gave it to her. Without any hesitation, she took the 50 paisa coin and put it in her bag. On returning home, I saw that my 50 paisa coin had created a big ruckus. Minnie's mother was holding a white shiny round object in her hand and asking Minnie, "Tell me, where did you get this 50 paisa coin from?" Preparing to cry, Minnie said, "I did not ask for it, he gave it to me on his own." I came and saved Minnie from that imminent danger and brought her out. I came to know that this was not Minnie's second meeting with that Kabuli. In the meantime, he had been coming every day, and by bribing her with pistachios and almonds, he had gained a lot of control over Minnie's little heart. I saw that there was some fixed conversation and laughter between these two friends. For example, on seeing Remat, my daughter would ask laughingly, "Kabuliwala, oh Kabuliwala, what is in your bag?" Remat would reply laughingly, adding an unnecessary "munda, elephant." It cannot be said that the essence of his joke was very subtle, yet it seemed to amuse both of them, and I also felt very good seeing the simple laughter of an adult and a child under the influence of autumn. They also had some other common things to say. Rahmat would say to Minnie, "You should never go to your in-laws' house, okay?" Girls here are familiar with the word in-laws from birth, but being a bit modern, we could not make a little girl very knowledgeable about in-laws, so she could not understand Rahmat's request clearly, yet it was completely against her nature to remain silent without answering anything. On the contrary, she would ask Rahmat, "When will you go to your in-laws?" Rahmat would point his huge fist at his imaginary father-in-law and say, "I will beat my father-in-law." On hearing this, Minnie would laugh a lot, imagining the plight of an unknown person called father-in-law. Soon the bright autumn season arrived. In ancient times, kings and emperors used to set out for Digvijay at this time. I have never gone anywhere except Kolkata, perhaps that is why my mind roams all over the world. That is, I am a permanent resident of the corner of my house, my mind is always restless for the outside world. On hearing the name of a foreign country, my mind starts running towards that place. Similarly, on seeing a foreigner, my mind immediately starts visualizing a hut in the middle of a river, mountain and forest, and thoughts of a joyous independent life arise in my imagination. On the other hand, I am such a stationary person that my body starts trembling at the thought of leaving my corner and going out of the house. This is the reason why I enjoy traveling a lot by sitting in front of the table in my small room in the morning and talking to that Kabuli. The entire picture of Kabul is drawn in front of me. On both sides there are high, inaccessible mountains of rough burnt red color, and a narrow desert road, a line of loaded camels is going on it. There are traders and travelers wearing turbans. Some are riding camels, while others are walking. Some have a spear in their hands, while others are carrying an old gun from the times of Adam. Amidst the sound of thundering clouds, Kabuli people are talking about their country in their mixed language. Minnie's mother is very suspicious by nature. As soon as there was some noise on the road, she assumed that all the drunkards and barbarians of the world were running towards our house. According to her, this world is full of thieves, dacoits, drunkards, snakes, tigers, malaria, ants, cockroaches and white people from one end to the other. She has been living in this world for so many days, not very long, yet this doubt in her mind has not gone away. She was not completely sure about Remat Kabuli in particular. She kept telling me again and again to keep a special eye on him. When I tried to laugh off her doubt, she would ask me several questions at once. Has anyone's child never been stolen? Are slaves not sold in Kabul? Is it absolutely impossible for a tall, fat, strong Kabuli to steal a small child, etc.? I had to admit that this was not completely impossible, but it was not believable. The power to trust is not the same in everyone, so my wife was still afraid, but just because of this I could not stop Remat from coming to our house without any fault. Every year in the month of Maf, Remat goes to his country. At this time he is very busy collecting money from his customers. He has to go from house to house, but still he meets Minnie once. It seems as if there is some conspiracy between the two. The day he is unable to come in the morning, he appears in the evening. Seeing that tall and strong man wearing loose pajamas and carrying a bag in the corner of the house in the dark, a doubt suddenly arises in the mind. But when I see Minnie running towards me laughing and calling out, "Kabuliwala, oh Kabuliwala," and the same old simple banter starts between the two Assamese friends of different ages, then my whole heart becomes happy. One morning I was sitting in my small room and checking the proof of my new book. Before the winter was over, it was raining heavily for 2-3 days. Wherever I looked, there was talk of winter. In such cold and frost, the morning sun came through the window and fell on my feet under the table, and its warmth made me happy. It must have been around 8 o'clock. People who went for morning walk with garlands on their heads were returning to their homes after finishing their walk. Just at this time, a loud noise was heard on the road. I saw that 2 policemen were taking my Rahmat tied up and away. A group of curious boys was following him. There were bloodstains on Rahmat's kurta and a soldier had a bloodstained knife in his hand. I went out of the door and stopped the soldier. I asked, "What is the matter?" I heard from the constable and from Rahmat that a man living in our neighborhood had bought Rampuri sheets from Rahmat. He had some money left with him, which he was reluctant to pay. This led to a heated argument between the two and Rahmat took out a knife and stabbed him. Rahmat was abusing that liar and dishonest man in various ways. Meanwhile, Minnie came out of the house calling out, "Kabuliwala, oh Kabuliwala." Rahmat's face lit up with a smile in a moment. He did not have a bag on his shoulder today, so the usual joke about the bag could not continue between the two friends. As soon as Rahmat laughed and said, "Yes, I am going there." Rahmat realized that his answer could not bring a smile on Minnie's face, and then he showed his hands and said, "I would have killed my father-in-law, but what can I do? My hands are tied." Rahmat was sentenced to several years in prison for the crime of stabbing. Gradually, the thought of Kabuli vanished from my mind. When we were spending our days comfortably sitting in our house doing our daily chores as per our usual habit, it never crossed our minds how an independent mountaineer would be spending years after years sitting inside the prison walls. And the conduct of the fickle-hearted Minnie was even more shameful. Even her father had to admit this. She easily forgot her old friend and first became friends with Nabi Sayas, then gradually as she grew older, instead of friends, she started getting girlfriends one after the other. And now she is not even seen in her father's writing room. In a way, my relationship with her has been broken. So many years have passed. After many years, today again autumn has come. Minnie's engagement has been finalized. She will get married during the Puja holidays. Along with Kailash Vasini, this time our blissful Minnie will also go to her in-laws' house after darkening her parents' house. The morning sun rose very beautifully. After the rain, this newly washed autumn sun is giving color like pure gold melted in the honeycomb. The aura of this sun has spread a kind of unique beauty even over the old brick fallen dirty houses lying adjacent to each other in the streets of Calcutta. The Shanai has been playing in our house since morning. I feel as if it is playing crying from the ribs of my heart. Its sad Barvi Regini is as if spreading my impending separation pain in the entire world along with the autumn sunshine. My Minnie is getting married today. The hustle and bustle has started since morning. People are coming and going all the time. A canopy is being set up in the courtyard by tying bamboo poles. Chandeliers are being hung in every room and veranda, and their tinkling sound is coming into my room. Voices of "Come on, hurry up, come here" are echoing. I was sitting in my study room writing the account of expenses. Just then Rahmat came and stood up saluting him. At first I could not recognize him. He neither had a bag, nor did he have long hair like before, and neither did his face have the same glow as before. Finally, seeing his smile, I could recognize that he was Rahmat. I asked, "Why Rahmat? When did you come?" He said, "I was released from jail yesterday evening." On hearing this, his words rang in my ears. I had never seen a murderer with my eyes. Seeing him, my heart suddenly shrank. I started wishing that it would be better if this man leaves from here on this auspicious day. I told him, "Today there is an important work in our house, so today I am busy in that. You go today, come back later." On hearing what I said, he immediately agreed to leave. But he went near the door and looking around a bit, said, "Can't I see the child?" Perhaps he believed that Minnie was still the same child. He thought that Minnie would still come running shouting Kabuliwala, oh Kabuliwala like before. There would be no interruption in their old humorous banter. Remembering their earlier friendship, he had brought a box of grapes and a few raisins and almonds in a paper bag, perhaps by borrowing from someone from his country. He did not have that bag of his earlier bag. I said, "There is a lot of work at home today. I will not be able to meet anyone today." On hearing my answer, he became somewhat sad. Silently, he looked at my face once with a steady gaze, then saying Salam Babu Saab, he went out of the door. I don't know what kind of pain arose in my heart. I was thinking of calling him, when I saw that he himself was coming. He came close and said, "I had brought these grapes and some raisins and almonds for my daughter, please give them to her." I wanted to take the stuff from his hand and give him the money, but he held my hand and said, "You are very kind Babu Sahib, I will always remember it, let the money be." He paused for a while and then said, "Babu Sahib, I also have a daughter like you in the country. I remember her and bring some dry fruits for your daughter. I don't come here to sell anything." While saying this, he put his hand inside his loose kurta and took out a dirty piece of paper from near his chest and opened its folds with great care and spread it with both hands and placed it on my table. I saw that there was a tiny palm print of a tiny hand on the paper. It was not a photo, not an oil painting, just a little soot on the hand, and its mark had been made on the paper. Holding this memory of his daughter close to his heart, Rahmat comes every year to sell his goods in the streets of Calcutta, and then this soot print seems as if the soft touch of his daughter's hand keeps pouring nectar into his lost ample chest. My eyes welled up with tears on seeing him. And then I completely forgot that he was a Kabuli dry seller and I was a nobleman from a high family. Then I began to feel that whatever he was, I was the same. He is also a father, I am also a father. The mark of his little Parvati on the mountain reminded me of my own Minnie. I called Minnie out immediately. Although there was a lot of objection to this inside, I did not pay any attention to it. Wearing the full wedding dress and jewelry, the poor bride-dressed Minnie came and stood near me, shrinking in shame. On seeing her, Kabuliwala was initially taken aback. He could not talk to her like before. Later he said smilingly, "Lali, are you going to your mother-in-law's house?" Minnie has now started understanding the meaning of mother-in-law, so now he could not answer her like before. On hearing Rahmat's words, her face turned red with shame. She turned her face away. I remembered the day when Minnie was first introduced to Kabuli. A pang of sorrow arose in my heart. When Minnie left, he sat down on the ground, taking a deep breath. Perhaps it suddenly became clear to him that his daughter would have grown up in all these days, and he would have to get acquainted with her again. Perhaps he would not find her exactly the same as before. Who knows what might have happened to her in these 8 years? In the morning, the Shanai started playing in the soft rays of the autumn sun, and Rahmat, sitting in a street of Calcutta, started looking at the view of the Marapat mountains of Afghanistan. I took out a 100-rupee note and gave it to him and said, "Rahmat, you go to your country, to your daughter. My Minnie will find happiness in the happiness of the union of both of you." After giving the money to Rahmat, I had to cut out a few parts of the celebrations from the wedding expenses. I could not arrange for the lighting as I had planned, and the English musicians did not come. The women in the house were very upset. Everything happened, but still, I feel that today our auspicious celebration was brightened by an extraordinary auspicious light.